Meta Knight. Meta Knight, Meta Knight, Meta Knight. This man is the coldest bro in Kirby. You see this man and you know he don't play. Man took over and blew up his own ship just to prove he could do it better than Kirby could. Now that is cold, okay? But did you know there's more than one? Actually, there's a bunch. And they are all different people from Meta Knight in some way, mostly, kind of. Today we're going to talk about it, we're going to discuss it, and we're going to figure out which one's the strongest. But before we can figure out who's the strongest Meta Knight between him and his shiny Pokemon-like clones, we got to talk about what their names are and who are they, right? So, there's Meta Knight, there's Dark Meta Knight, there's Galactonite, there's Morpho Knight, there's Parallel Meta Knight, and there's Phantom Meta Knight. Yes, if you didn't know, there's a bunch of different ones, and they all have a varying strength level. So, let's just jump into it, right? Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it. Now, we all know Meta Knight, right? This cold mofo fights Kirby, gives Kirby the sword, says, "Challenge me." And, you know, he's trying to really throw it down with the all-time great Kirby. He's trying to show him the way. But none of Meta Knight's clones are anything like that. None of them. None of them have much or any benevolence. Maybe one or two have a morsel of benevolence in them. Maybe they're kind of good people. But for the most part, they're all very evil. And Meta Knight's actually probably the most heroic of all of them. If you didn't know, Meta Knight's actually really a good guy at its core. A lot of people like to think he's a villain, he's an enemy. But no, him and Kirby are actually very good friends. He's his mentor. Beautiful relationship the two of them have. But we can't say the same for the rest of the Meta Knights. Let's jump into Dark Meta Knight, right? Dark Meta Knight, first found an amazing mirror, okay? Dark Meta Knight actually defeats Meta Knight in a 1-on-1. That's saying a lot, alrighty? This dude is legit. Look at him. You look at him and you know he is a cold mofo. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're all Meta Knights. So they're all cold. But look at him. Look at his tattered cape. Look at his sword. He's got the extra prongs on his Galaxia sword. He's legit. Unlike most Meta Knights, though, where they like to, you know, fly around and use those bat wings, so, you know, they're full supreme. Dark Meta Knight likes to use clones, mirrors, and, you know, he can actually construct massive swords. Kind of awesome, actually. He's super cool. He's legit, actually. Galactonite, first seen in Superstar Ultra. Now, the lore states that Galactonite once defeated the greatest evil in the galaxy, and then he was sealed away, never to be heard from, right? Well, when Meta Knight beats the game and he meets Nova, he's granted one wish. And you know what he says? Because Meta Knight is that dude. He says, "I want to fight the strongest warrior in the galaxy." Nova grants him his wish, and poof, Galactonite is freed from his imprisonment, and the two of them have a battle, in which Meta Knight does win, but it is epic. I mean, the soundtrack is just so freaking dope. The soundtrack goes so hard. It's absurd. We now have Morpho Knight, alright? He is the next in line, the next Meta Knight you're going to meet. Normally seen as a construct of a butterfly, he lands on Galactonite and turns him into this monster. This monster. He's a total badass. He's got butterfly wings. He can create these tornadoes of fire. He can, you know, use these giant swords. You fight him again in Forgotten Land too. He's super duper cool. He's super awesome. He's like Galactonite on steroids. The next two Meta Knights we're going to talk about, they're a little different, right? They're a little weirder. One is Parallel Meta Knight, the other being Phantom Meta Knight. Now, one is from Star Allies, the other being from Forgotten Land. These two haven't had much shine because, you know, they're each only in one game. They're also both, like, after boss beats, you know? When you're trying to 100% the game, that's really when you find them. When you meet Parallel Meta Knight, this is his lore. He is an MK clone manifested from the Jamba Heart overpowering Meta Knight. This led to another Meta Knight becoming into a natural construct in the world, and Kirby must defeat him. He's also known as one of the otherworldly 4 heavenly kings. That's awesome. And then lastly, we have Phantom Meta Knight. Now, Fecto captured a lot of the minds, right? He corrupted King Dedede, for example, right? But he also tried to corrupt Meta Knight. He lost, though. Yes, that's correct. He tried to corrupt Meta Knight, and through sheer willpower and force, Meta Knight resisted. And in doing so, Fecto created a memory of Meta Knight, the Phantom Meta Knight, and that is whom you fight in Forgotten Land at the end in the post-game. So this is not actual Meta Knight, it is just the construct of Meta Knight from some other creature's memory. A very powerful creature, don't get me wrong, but still, it's not the actual Meta Knight. Now we need to talk about which one is the strongest, right? That's what we're all here for. We want to know who's the strongest Meta Knight. There's so many different Meta Knights in the world. There's like 6 or 7 of them, and we're here to chat about which one is the strongest if they all dueled, right? So let's make a list. Okay? All right. So what we got here, we're going to rank them, right? We're going to talk about who's the strongest. That's the whole point we came here for today, right? Is to figure out which one of these boys is the coldest of the block, right? So let's start with like obvious ones, right? Who beat who in the canon? First, we'll start with Meta Knight. Meta Knight is cool. He's cold. We'll probably put him towards the top. We'll have the list over here. You'll see how it works. Dark Meta Knight beat Meta Knight. So it's hard to not have Dark Meta Knight above Meta Knight, right? So this is what we'll be right now. Dark Meta Knight into Meta Knight. Now Meta Knight beat Galactonite. So you got to put Galactonite down here. Galactonite slightly below Meta Knight, right? So this is the list so far. We got Meta Knight right here, Dark Meta Knight at number 1, and Galactonite at the last place so far, right? Now, let's figure out where everybody else is going to go. Now, out of these three, which one do we think we can rank the easiest? In my opinion, it's the Phantom Meta Knight. Now, why I would say that is because he's not actually Meta Knight number 1, so he doesn't, he's just a figment of somebody's imagination, and it's a loss. My man took a loss and then decided to make his own Meta Knight. There's no way this dude is even above these dudes. So I got Phantom Meta Knight actually at the bottom. He's probably the weakest of all of them. Canonically, at least. And I would put Parallel Meta Knight probably somewhere around here. I would say he's probably slightly stronger than Meta Knight. He is when Meta Knight lost the corruption to the Jumbo Hearts. So, it leads one to believe that this dude's probably slightly stronger than the base one. And then you got Morpho Knight, who is like an upgraded version in every way of Galactonite. So it leaves one to believe that he would be stronger than Meta Knight. And I would like to say Parallel Knight 2. Maybe even as strong as Dark Meta Knight. I'd put them tied at the top, right? But I do think there is one direct winner, right? I do think there's clearly one best Meta Knight, right? And if you're wondering who that best Meta Knight is, it's gotta be Brawl Meta Knight. I mean, look at these moves. Look how fast they are. There's like no ending lag. Any list I've ever seen has him at the top. He's an S tier in all of them, so it's gotta be S tier in this one too.
Come back when you can put up a fight.